live. American Brain Rot. Episode 9? 9, right?
Episode 9. Yes.
Episode 9.
So much work, we're not sure.
Yeah, it's also been a little bit since we recorded the last one.
Yeah. Well, that's because of Easter. We usually record on Sundays, and Easter came up, man. We got families.
Yeah, I don't.
It was
Easter wasn't. Maybe. Were you with your family on Easter? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, fucking. I was with the whole family because you know what's happening in the personal life, and
yes,
you got to be with the family at those times. So.
I hear you. Yeah, Easter was just for me sitting on my ass playing Xbox, studying for this exam. That's pretty much it. But yeah,
I finally saw Batman the movie. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't care. Finally saw it, loved it, thought it was cool. Like how he was getting shot in a lot of the scenes and was eating the bullets. There's a lot of people say, "Why don't you just shoot him? Just freaking shoot him." That's what happens when you shoot him. The bullets just, they bounce off his suit, and when he takes off his suit, it hurts. But that's what you gotta do to be Batman. We need a Batman in real life. You know that?
Yeah, that would be all right.
He would definitely be progressive, I think.
I guess there's always the kind of controversy with Bruce Wayne being a billionaire and beating.
Well, he would be a Republican. Publicly, he'll be Republican, but deep down, progressive.
We can all hope, I guess. But no, the movie was awesome. I love that movie. I love his suit. His suit is I think my favorite.
Yeah, the suit was hot.
Love the suit.
It was a good take on the Batman series. Batman story.
For sure.
Batman. Joker at the end looked like he was about 21. I couldn't really quite see. He looked pretty young, dude.
Yeah, he's young. No, he is.
He was like a young guy.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway.
You didn't see the deleted scene with the Joker, did you?
No.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh. God damn it! I watched it on HBO Max, so I fast forwarded, and there was nothing at the end.
It's not in the movie itself, but if you go to HBO Max, and you go to the extras, it's there. You'll see it there, and it's Batman going to Arkham to go talk to him.
That's real interesting.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good.
Okay. Do you see the Joker's face? I know we're talking a little bit.
You do a little. Yeah, it's blurred for most of it, but then at the end you see it.
All right. Check that out later.
Yep, for sure. Give us the rundown.
What do we got today? So we got today, obviously, just throwing in. I didn't tell Denny about this, but little update on Ukraine, Russia. Just because we're kind of sticking to it. Ukraine is actually attacking Russia at their borders now.
I heard, yeah.
And it just gives you a little bit of I guess hope that Russia is not just going to bombard them all the time from all directions. Now Russia's got to worry about defense as well, and it's unfortunate the people dying in both countries, but this is war. This is what happens when you put people like Putin in power. And,
yeah, it sucks. I hate it. I hate that it's even going on still.
Well, it's not much updates to do other than Ukraine's fighting back even harder now with them attacking Russia and their own borders. It just shows just how much of a serious threat Ukraine is to the Russian oligarchy, huge army that Russia is set to have, which in my opinion, it's not looking too good. It looks like they're a little unprepared when it comes to war tactics, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not even. I don't even think it's like Russia's military itself. I'm pretty sure they're pretty capable. It's the whole strategy going into the whole thing. It was just stupid from the beginning. You know what I mean? That's why so many people were just like, Russia's not going to invade. It's stupid. Why would they do that? And they did, and it's stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. They look stupid now.
They look pretty dumb. He definitely thought it was going to be a lot easier than it is. Now he's getting attacks on his own border. How do you explain that to your people? You know what I mean? You started something and now people are getting killed because of the enemy to you. It's just. I mean, at the end of the day, he doesn't give a fuck about how it looks to him.
No,
He's
of
an
course not.
oligarch.
And he
He's
doesn't
a
care about his
dictator.
people either.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, he doesn't care. We know that, but he still has to show that he has to show that he cares. There has to be some kind of fake ass, appearance that he does care, or else he'll lose even the Russian loving patriots that are in Russia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
So
it's what they end up doing though is they end up putting blame elsewhere. That's what, typical right wing
yeah,
tactic. There's no accountability and there's no like explaining themselves. He's just like, yeah, well, he'll just say some stupid shit like, yeah, these Ukrainians, they're all racist and Nazis, it's crazy shit. And the majority of people in Russia don't believe it.
of course, of course. Well, I will say one more thing, something that really pissed me off, but then when I started like thinking about it even more, I realized that the United States does this just as much. But I saw a video recently, and maybe it's because I'm from New York that it pissed me off so much that there was like a Russian talk show or a Russian news show, and they're just laughing about nuking New York. They're just laughing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the commentator I was listening to at the time was, I believe it was from Secular Talk, Kyle Kalinske.
Hmm.
And Kyle Kalinske is also from New York. And
Yeah.
he was saying, like, yeah, they could nuke us, but the repercussions of that would be dire.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, but that means I'm still dead, dude. Like, I
Mhm.
don't give a fuck about the repercussions if
Yeah.
I'm blown up, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
that's Russian state media. They do a lot of stuff like that, especially at times of war. They do a lot of stupid stories like that. It's all propaganda.
yeah, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it is all propaganda. You're absolutely correct, and we do that to
Oh yeah,
countries in the Middle East. We do that to Russia. There's politicians like in the Republican Party in the United States. They straight up say we need to assassinate Putin. We need to do like. I mean, there's some fucking lunatics in our side too. So,
no, of
moving on. That
course.
would be the only update I have on Ukraine.
Yep.
Today, let's talk a little bit about Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman from. I actually don't know what state she's from. Do you? Doesn't
Um,
matter. Fucking cuckoo for Cocoa
I
Puffs.
think it's North Carolina.
Um,
Jesus, I can't. I don't. I'm drawing a
it
blank.
could be. And then we'll talk a little bit about
So,
Madison Cawthorn, who's just getting into hella political trouble. It seems like it's getting more and more worse ever since he tried to out his own Republican Party for having alleged sex orgies and
those
having invited his
cocaine
ass.
orgies.
Oh yeah, he definitely said that, and ever since he said that, his political, his political career has been taking quite a dump because there's story after story with this guy. And then let's get a little bit into
So
Elon Musk.
sorry, really quick. Georgia. Marjorie
Uh,
Taylor Greene is in Georgia.
is in Georgia. Okay, thank you. That's good to know. What the fuck is going on with you guys in Georgia, by the way? But Elon Musk, congratulations to him. He bought Twitter. Yay. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean,
Bad.
it's hella bad.
It's bad.
Not good. But I do have a lot of friends and family who they like him. They like the fact that he bought Twitter. They don't necessarily understand what could happen.
They
And I
don't-
could be wrong, but the facts that are factual, like the plain facts show that I'm most likely right, probability wise. So we'll talk about that if it's a good or bad thing that he bought Twitter. And then we can end it on Chantel Brown versus Nina Turner, a highly
It's Tuesday.
anticipating match. I think election, right? I think it's this Tuesday. I think we got like 2 more days or 3 more days. I think it's the third. So yeah, they have a good back and forth between the two. And Chantel goes a little bit unhinged in her rant towards Nina Turner. We'll check that out to end the podcast review.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so this will be my first time watching.
Nice. All right. So the first video I sent you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's probably one of the highest fundraisers for the Republican Party. People just donate to her. They love her. They absolutely love her in the Republican Party. And that is very interesting to me only because Marjorie Taylor Greene, or MTG, she is definitely more the Trump leaning Republican, and she does not like the conservative Republicans like Liz Cheney or Mitt Romney types. She calls them rhinos.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bit of a civil war within the Republican Party, and I think the higher elites of the Republican Party, namely Mitch McConnell, I don't think he wants to see a future in MTG or Donald Trump personally. And I think that the trouble that she's in right now for the January 6th involvement of trying to fucking take over the goddamn country for Donald Trump, I think that the higher Republican politicians, higher ranked Republican politicians, I think they're all going to kind of make sure she goes down here. But only time will tell. You can play the first video just so for people can understand what we're dealing with
Yep.
when we're talking Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is a little bit of
It
a
hasn't
compilation.
exactly been a peachy week for Georgia
I cannot
Republican
see it, by the way.
Congresswoman
Oh, yeah,
Marjorie
I can
Taylor
see it.
Greene, who appeared on a public access call-in show in her district a few nights ago and got an earful.
Thank God for Joe Biden. She is an embarrassment to the state of Georgia.
Well, we all have our opinions.
Amen to that, and I've got mine.
All righty, thank you.
All righty, thank you. Greene, who helped lead the right-wing charge to overturn the 2020 election results, learned that people back in her home state have been paying close attention to her ridiculous antics. Another listener during that call-in show took Greene to the woodshed over her refusal to work with President Biden. Now, this piece of sound is a little long, but it is so worth it.
We accepted Trump for 4 years. You all refused to accept Biden. You refused to do it. And maybe we didn't like Trump, but he
Look at her
won,
face.
and so that was it. You all are not, you will not accept the fact that Joe Biden won. And that is the whole thing. You're not going to accept it. You're going to keep on and just peck. Yeah, and you won't get anything done. If you're not going to respect the man and realize that he's the president, you're not ever going to get anything done. You've got to work together. And you are not
So crazy
doing
how
it.
right that
You're
old
not
lady is.
doing it. And neither are the other Republicans. They're just going with Trump. No, he didn't win it. He didn't win it. And wasted all the money in Georgia to have to count the votes 3 times because he said he won and he didn't. And to me, everything in Washington would settle down if the Republicans would just say, oh, we didn't win. It's like Alabama and Florida, the Alabama people. Well, we didn't. We really should have won.
Bless her heart. The look on the Congresswoman's face as she listened to all of that. It's a little early for Valentine's Day, but I think I'm in love with that nice lady on the phone. In part because it's a sign our democracy stands a chance after all, and because it's a reminder that when you peddle the worst kinds of conspiracy theories, sometimes reality bites you back. Greene has become a rising star in the GOP, even after embracing other big lies and conspiracies, like blaming Jewish-owned space lasers for the California wildfires and comparing congressional COVID restrictions to the Holocaust.
This woman is mentally ill. You know, we can look back in a time in history where people were told to wear a gold star, and they were definitely treated like second-class citizens, so much so that they were put in trains and taken to gas chambers in Nazi Germany. And this is exactly the type of abuse that Nancy Pelosi is talking about.
All right, pause that.
Point out Greene.
Yo, listen, Denny. I mean, this is what I'm talking about with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, listen, I'm not an advocate for Nancy Pelosi. I think Nancy Pelosi is one of the worst politicians in the country. Obviously, she's hella corrupt, and she's head of, she's leader of the House of Congress. Yeah, in the Democratic side, she's the House leader. So my point is, no matter what the fuck she's done, it should never have been comparable to what happened at the Holocaust.
Oh,
so,
yeah, of course.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to compare her to Hitler, and it's like, that shit doesn't even make sense. How dumb are you, bro? Like, what the fuck is going on in your mind for you to compare her in that sense? Like, you couldn't figure out anything else? Do you think are you really that dumb, or do you just think that your voters are that dumb?
Yeah, it's
This
that
might
one.
be a case where it's both.
Well, yeah, she's certainly an idiot. I think at the end of the day, when it comes to people like her, they have an agenda. They're the ones who, really have a specific agenda, and they try to stick to it. And in order to stick to it, you have to say stuff like this. You know what I mean? Whether you believe it or not. And honestly, I don't think that she really believes this. I don't think so. I think that she knows her base. That's it. She knows her base. She knows what her base wants to hear. So that's what she's giving them. She's delivering what they want, so that she can remain in power and continue to get reelected, by being as unhinged as possible, because she saw it worked for Trump, at least for one term, and she's going after the same strategy. But I don't I don't believe that she she's more comparable to Hitler than Nancy Pelosi is, and like you said, Nancy Pelosi is awful, but she's awful in a much different way that Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't going to talk about, because Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to be awful in those ways as well. Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to do the same insider
Yes.
trading that Nancy Pelosi is doing, but she really won't bring that up, because then she would have to hold herself accountable too. So she's going to say crazy shit like Nancy Pelosi is, Hitler, and she's running concentration
comparable to Hitler.
camps and all this other stupid shit. Because, that's easy. That's easy to kind of throw out there and have your voters eat it up. You know what I mean?
And Jewish people have created lasers in space
Right.
that are causing the fires in California.
Right.
I mean, to say that with a straight face, I don't even know what to say to you. I agree with mostly everything you've said, except for one thing. I think she's really that dumb. I think she believes a lot of the things she says. I don't think she's smart enough to, be that type of Republican or politician like a Nancy Pelosi that will do all the bad shit on the low and kind of stay, in the shadows like Nancy Pelosi does in terms of the media attention. So I think that that's where I'm correct in my analysis on her. I don't think she thinks about stuff like that, bro. And if later on in this video, we're gonna show you a text message that she sends to one of Trump's officials, urging Trump to declare martial law. And she's telling him, "Look, I know that you won. I know that this election was stolen from you." And it's like he doesn't even believe that he won. You know what I mean?
Right.
Donald Trump doesn't believe he won. Donald
Right.
Trump is just trying to win
He doesn't care.
any way he can.
Yeah,
he
just
doesn't give a
care.
shit.
Yeah.
But why do you think that he won? Like, it's obvious that he's lied. Everyone knows that he's lied. Even he does, because he doesn't even defend himself at the right velocity that he probably should defend himself. Yeah, he talks about it a lot in interviews, but he already lost. You know what I mean? I'm talking about at the time when it was happening. He should have been visibly fuming at it. You know what I mean? Like really fighting it, showing him going to court, for it. But he didn't let that shit happen. He just sent his lawyers to court and they all lost.
Yeah.
So, and he didn't say anything about the losses. It was just like,
No.
whatever. They stole it from me. Trust me. Like, that's it,
Yep.
So, anyway, we'll play this to 4:40.
Okay.
Only because I believe they show a compilation of her just spewing out conspiracy theories.
Later apologized, but Greene is not alone on the January 6th Karma Watch. North Carolina GOP House member Madison Cawthorn is now facing a challenge from some of his constituents who filed a lawsuit arguing that he should be barred from Congress for speaking at the Stop the Steal rally just before the attack on the Capitol. Those North Carolina citizens note the section in the Constitution stating that no person shall serve in Congress if they've engaged in an insurrection.
The Democrats, with all the fraud they have done in this election, the Republicans hiding and not fighting, they are trying to silence your voice.
Cawthorn, who recently was caught on camera cleaning his gun during a virtual congressional hearing, has repeatedly talked up the prospect of civil war in this country for months.
If our election systems continue to be rigged and continue to be stolen, then it's going to lead to one place, and it's bloodshed. And I will tell you, as much as I'm willing to defend our liberty at all costs, there's nothing that I would dread doing more than having to pick up arms against a fellow American.
Cawthorn is blowing off the
Horrible.
First of all, not to sound ableist, because I'm not. However, he's going to be the first one down. He's going to be who is he kidding? And who believes him, you know? Who the hell is he kidding? He should go take, you know, if it came down to like civil war, he's going to be in a bunker, as he should be. As a disabled person, you shouldn't be anywhere near fighting. If he's going to take up arms, he's finished. He's done for. That's all I wanted to say.
Imagine him trying to run away, trying to get out of a bullet, get out of the way of a bullet.
Yeah,
He already got shot like 5 times. There's like 5 fucking bullet holes in his chest.
I'm pretty sure most individuals who are disabled and in wheelchairs would be like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about? He's not going to do anything."
Yeah, but now I'm picturing him cleaning his gun in the halls of Congress as they're doing speeches and shit, like in his wheelchair, just cleaning his gun. Like, bro, you're not tough.
Yeah, you're not tough.
You're not tough, bro. Oh,
you're not tough. If I was like a Democratic congressperson there, I would make fun of him so bad. If I saw him doing that, like in the halls of Congress, I'd be like, "What are you doing? What are you gonna do? What are you doing?"
I would record him like, "What are you doing, bro? Where are you? What state are you from? What is he from? Georgia? Is he also from Georgia?
I think he's North Carolina. I'm pretty sure. All right, let's go.
that he could be disqualified. From
was that it? Was that where we're stopping, or we're?
No. Wait, what did I say? Oh, 440. 20 seconds.
This is just another impeachment of President Donald Trump. It's just that he's not in office right now, so they're not capable of actually being able to do it. So instead, they're going after his fighters. They're going after the America First patriots.
There is nothing.
Right, so basically, you know, obviously, him and Marjorie Taylor Greene are both in trouble. The reason why we're putting these guys out, they're both in trouble because there's a question of whether or not they should be even able to run for office again.
Re-election,
right now, because of re-election, right? Obviously, people are talking about, from both parties, they're talking about fucking banning them.
Right.
And I obviously agree with this. It's in the Constitution. If you were supporting an insurrection, you should be booted from politics, at the very least. With that being said, if it goes through, in my opinion, that these two pieces of shit get banned from running again, this is a possible tactic that both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and when I say Republican Party, I mean the Mitch McConnell side of him, the conservatives, the establishment part. Could be a tool for them to prevent Donald Trump from running for president again, and thus giving themselves a chance to take office. So we're gonna pay close attention to this. If you go to the second video, this guy, Madison Cawthorn, 26-year-old congressman, he just got elected 2 years ago, I believe, and boy, is he making a name for himself, and it is not in a good way.
Before we move away from Marjorie Taylor Greene, there was a new report that came out a few days ago. I think we spoke about it the other day, I'm not sure, that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert almost got into a really big fight, a physical fight in D.C.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. And for those who don't know, Lauren Boebert is equally as awful as Marjorie Taylor Greene and Madison Cawthorn. They're all like, they're the same. They're essentially the same person. Yeah, apparently, I'm not sure the accuracy, but apparently Lauren Boebert was not happy that Marjorie Taylor Greene kept making speaking appearances at like white nationalist events. And she was kind of trying to tell her, like, it's a bad look. You can't keep doing that, or else they're all going to really turn on us, the Republican Party. And that apparently got into a big fight between the both of them, which I love, and that's hilarious. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, first off, you would think that Marjorie Taylor Greene would be like, "Oh shit, my bad, bro. All right, no problem. I'll stop.
That
This is what I mean when I say I really do think she's dumb.
no, yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
she's really dumb, and I don't think she's smart enough to say, you know what, I'm just gonna become a politician, vote for what the rich want,
Yeah.
take donations, and be on the low. No, she's trying to be a star. She thinks that going full head Trump and then throwing her own little craziness in there, like Jewish space lasers, I think she thinks that's gonna get her famous and rich fast.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to stop and do. She's entering the racist rally. She's racist herself. She's not afraid to show that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's definitely slightly more unhinged than Lauren Boebert and Madison Cawthorn. She's a little more of the QAnon than either of those two. And also another thing to mention is that she was recently had to testify under oath about a lot of the crazy shit that she said, and that is also funny. Maybe we'll cover it another time, but that was also very funny hearing her scramble and lie and then take back the lie. It's funny.
Her only defense in those court hearings and any interview she's done on the matter of January 6th and her part in trying to do an insurrection, her only defense is, I don't know. I don't recall.
Yeah.
I don't recall. All day, every day.
Yeah.
She would say, I don't recall. You would think you would recall if you tried to betray the United States and have a coup, essentially, or support a coup. You would say, what the hell? Hell no, I didn't do that. But she doesn't want to get caught on the perjury. So she can't say that.
Yeah.
So just by that alone, if you're a Republican voter or just an American at all who cares about politics or anything like that, I would say if you're more of a Republican voter, you should listen to her and go, yeah, I mean, this fucking lady is a liar and she's making my party look bad. Of course, you're going to have some Republican voters that are going to go, I don't care. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, beat the system. But I think it's going to hit some Republican voters in a way where it's like, all right, let's get her out of there. You know what I mean? I would like to think so at the very least. Our third video is going to showcase her having a impromptu interview with Jim Acosta, and there's going to be a little bit of a back and forth. But let's this guy Trevor Noah is gonna he's gonna straight shit on Madison Cawthorn by just straight telling the world what's going on with Madison Cawthorn. Let's see.
You know, most politicians get into trouble every once in a while. You know, it's part of the job. A little illegal campaign contribution, a little sex scandal, a little storming the Capitol. You know, trivial stuff we've all come to accept. But in the past few weeks, one member of Congress has been collecting scandals like Steve Harvey collects those pinstripe suits. So let's check in on what this politician has been getting up to in another installment of Fringe Watching.
Oh, listen. I don't usually watch Trevor Noah, but he is funny.
Scandal champion in Washington is none other than Madison Cawthorn, congressman from North Carolina, and what lacrosse would look like if it were a person. From the moment he showed up on the political scene 2 years ago, Cawthorn has always been a controversial figure. Right? First, he faced sexual harassment allegations from his time in college, and then he was caught lying about getting into the Naval Academy. And then he got in trouble for gleefully posting on Instagram about his visit to Hitler's mountain retreat, or as he called it, the vacation house of the Fuhrer. Yeah, which is weird. I mean, we don't need to be referring to Hitler by his nickname. Like, I call Jay-Z Hova, right? But I probably wouldn't do that anymore if he committed genocide, you know? And now, by the way, this was all before Cawthorn even got into Congress. Yeah, since he's taken the oath of office, his scandals have definitely not slowed down. Most recently, you probably heard that he made headlines by claiming that other members of Congress had done cocaine in front of him and invited him to orgies. Which, first of all, snitch. And second of all, the whole thing was a lie. Of course, it's not true. These people are in Congress. They're not throwing an orgy. That's way too complicated for them. They'd have to secure funding for the sex toys first. They'd have to agree on a time and a location. They'd have a committee to debate about the rules. Is kissing allowed? Can you do butt stuff? And then at the last minute, Joe Manchin would show up and object, and everyone would have to put their dicks back in their pants. Nah.
All right, pause.
I had something to say also, but go ahead.
Okay, you might have to. You might be saying the same thing I'm saying. So let me know. You know, yes, it's funny everything that Trevor Noah just said, but when he said that, of course, that's not true.
Yep, we
you know
are
what I mean?
we are
Like,
saying the same thing.
okay, listen, we don't know if that's true or not.
Well,
okay.
Here's the
Go
thing.
ahead.
Here's the thing. Why I say it's true, and why a few other people that I personally watch say it's true as well, is afterwards, House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy came out and said about Madison Cawthorn. He said, "Oh, now he needs to re-earn our trust now." After he said that, which means it's true. Why would you say that if it wasn't true? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. When I think about it, I think it's true as well that they do try to have orgies, because I think that rich people in general are probably the most disgusting people when it comes to sexuality.
Yeah. I mean,
and also like they all kind of, all these stories of Madison Cawthorn, sorry for interrupting, but Madison Cawthorn is now being put under the ringer. I mean, there's stories after stories getting thrown out there. They're throwing this fucking guy under the bus. And it's usually Republican politicians that do this. Democratic politicians do not do opposition research against their opponents, but Republicans do. And he just made a whole bunch of enemies when he said that he got invited to these orgies. You understand? And obviously he was talking about Republican politicians when he said that.
Yes.
So it is the Republican politicians that are sinking his ass politically and through the media. With that being said, that's the only reason why I think it's true. You know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Kevin McCarthy saying what he said, and other Republicans being upset at him and trying to throw him under the bus. There must be some truth to it for them being that mad. You know what I mean?
Oh,
because
yeah,
because if it wasn't true, I'm sure you would see them probably laughing and being like, "Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. It's stupid."
Right.
But they're mad. They're upset that he said that, which means
And he had to apologize.
There has to
he
be
had to apologize.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I think he apologized on Twitter, didn't he?
And then he tried to change the subject to no, he did a video on it, and he tried to change the subject to the Democrats and how they're trying to
of course.
Steal the election and shit. It's like, no, we're talking about orgies and what you said about your colleagues there, buddy.
Yeah, and
We're
also
talking about Democrats.
Also, or I don't give a shit personally about orgies, whatever. If they're go have fun and stay safe. But at the end of the day, the orgy itself, who cares? That's not the problem. The problem is just internal fighting between Republicans, and it's great.
Absolutely amazing.
Those Coke orgy stories, that's in the distant past. That happened way low, like 3 weeks ago. Nobody's even talking about that anymore because Cawthorn is getting into new trouble every damn day, starting with some really bad driving.
Newly released video shows Congressman Madison Cawthorn getting his license revoked during a traffic stop in Cleveland County.
The traffic stop came after the truck crossed the center line. As the trooper approaches Cawthorn's, informed that his license plate tag is expired, the trooper discovered Cawthorn's driver's license had been revoked due to an out-of-state ticket.
Yeah, first Madison Cawthorn was pulled over for swerving. Then the cops found out that he had an expired license plate, and then he was busted for having a revoked driver's license. I mean, those are Hall of Fame numbers right there. I don't even think OJ broke that many laws during his cop chase. And what's crazy is that this is the second time that he's been busted for driving with a revoked license. At this point, he's probably the only member of Congress who might show up to work with an ID that says McLovin. He's like, that's me, that's real. But if I'm honest, I can see why. Of course he's got to drive with a revoked license. Do you know how embarrassing it must be when he needs to ask his mom to drive him to the orgy? It's just like, Mom, don't drop me off in front of the mansion. Just leave me at the corner. She's like, okay, love you. Make sure you have enough cocaine for everybody. So yes, Madison Cawthorn is not allowed to drive himself anywhere right now. But before you think of giving him a lift to the airport, you might want to be careful when you're throwing his bags in the trunk.
U.S. Republican Congressman Madison Cawthorn was cited by police on Tuesday after they found a loaded handgun in his bag at a North Carolina airport. TSA agents found
the fuck is wrong with this guy? He really loves his guns.
Security checkpoint, Police say he was cooperative and cited for possession of a dangerous weapon on city property.
Why would you bring a gun to the airport?
Just over a year,
do you not live in America,
has
bro?
been stopped for carrying a gun at an airport.
You know, when I go to the airport, I'm worried about what the fuck I should bring. Like, do they allow this cologne? Do they allow this, fucking deodorant or soap bar? Like, I don't even know anymore. You know what I'm saying? Is this a big size of, freaking, body oil, or is it too big? Do I need a travel size? I don't know. And this guy's bringing a fucking gun, and he's a U.S. congressman.
Yeah, he's cosplaying as a tough guy. That's all it is. He's.
I mean, it could be like a, what's that word I'm looking for? Like he did it on purpose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're trying to say? Okay.
No, well, yeah, sure. That is what I'm trying to say. But at the end of the day, I think he's just, he's a fucking idiot trying to portray himself as something that he's not.
Okay, there you go.
Before you judge, who hasn't made this mistake, huh? The Uber's waiting outside. You trying to pack your bags real quick. You throw in your cologne, your underwear, your AK-47. What am I doing? You can't take cologne on a plane. The craziest part about the story is that's the second time he got caught trying to bring a gun onto a plane in a year. I get if you made this mistake like 15 years ago. But twice in 1 year? Why are you so invested in getting a gun on a plane? Huh?
You did it twice.
How intense is the battle for your armrest, my man? What are you doing? And before you ask, yes, the congressman was punished. He was given a citation, which I know sounds like something they give you for having the biggest watermelon at the country fair, but this will hurt him. His life will be the same. In a way, I respect him. A lot of Republicans talk about being pro-police, but he's the only one out here personally keeping all of these police departments in business. I respect that. So Cawthorn got caught driving without a license, and then he got caught trying to bring weapons onto a plane. And most people would take a breather after that, but not Madison Cawthorn, no. Because the same day the news broke about the gun, he was accused of taking part in a cryptocurrency insider trading scheme.
Oh my God. Some of these things I didn't know.
This guy
I know this one.
Who would have thought? So now we got suspended licenses, guns at airports, possible insider trading, basically 3 stars on GTA. Madison Cawthorn even has scandals that expose his character as a scam. And in order to understand this next scandal properly, first, you need to know that Madison Cawthorn has been saying certain things on the campaign trail about what it means to be a man.
Our culture today is trying to completely demasculate all of the young men in our culture. We have bred a generation of
he sounds like a 7-year-old boy.
That generation has created a lot of problems in our society and our culture.
If you want me to sit here and call a man a woman, you are asking me to buy into this lie. And I'll say no to that.
Your left-wing movement is forcing children to endure radical expressions of sexuality. And I never imagined that one of my sacred duties in this hallowed chamber would be explaining to the House Speaker the difference between a man and a woman. You'll never amend biology. Science is not Burger King. You can't just have it your way.
That's an interesting way to put it. I like how Cawthorn is working some product placement into his floor speeches. Gender is simple. Men are like Arby's. We have the meat.
Look at his little head they got on the side.
Yes, Madison Cawthorn has been talking a big game about defending traditional conservative notions of masculinity and gender, selling himself as the icon of traditional Christian manhood, which this country has lost. So you can imagine how awkward it was for him to try and explain this.
New tonight, North Carolina Congressman Madison Cawthorn responding to photos circulating online that show him wearing women's lingerie. Cawthorn said on Twitter that these images were first reported by Politico and came from a game he played during a cruise. The North Carolina congressman says the photos were taken long before he ran for office.
Well. Check out Madison over here. What game were you playing? I'm going to put on this lingerie and look good doing it, huh? You said you were a good Christian soldier. Looks more like a good Christian Louboutin soldier, huh? Now, I want to be clear. A man wearing lingerie isn't a scandal, right? It isn't a scandal in any way. Men can wear whatever they want to wear. But this particular man, he spends a lot of time attacking other people for how they dress, how they identify, and what their values are. All I'm saying is the next time gender issues come up again, this dude better not get his panties in a bunch. That's all I'm saying, you know? So that's what Madison Cawthorn has been up to for the past month.
All right.
Yeah. And nobody knows if any of these scandals will end up.
Want to cut it here? Oh, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, we could cut it here. It's just absolutely insane to me how he's very anti-gay. You know, he doesn't like trans. You know, whatever. But bro, come on, man, stick to the story here, bro. You have pictures of yourself wearing women's clothing, and I don't care if it's a game or anything like that. You don't have to pose the way you did. You don't have to do this in the picture. You ain't gotta do that, man. You was having way too much fun, bro. And it's kind of pathetic how, I don't know, because there's no way in hell anyone in his party who he's trying to, cater to with that type of talk, there's no way in hell they'll look at that and go, yeah, this is my guy still. You know what I mean? And he was caught doing it. I'm sure he didn't want those pictures out. But these are the type of pictures and stories that came out after he talked about Republicans inviting him to have orgies. They're trying to crush this guy.
Yeah.
And he's too young and too stupid to see it coming.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So,
I mean, most of these, him and all the other, Marjorie and Lauren Boebert, you know, at the end of the day, they're all just trying to play a role. You know what I mean? They're trying to play a character.
Grifters.
They're grifters, of course. And they're just trying to play a character to an audience, to a particular audience. And I'm not saying that he doesn't believe these things. I'm sure he does. But, the whole cleaning his gun and bringing a gun onto the plane, and then all the talks about masculinity and all this other shit. But then at the same time, wearing women's clothing, you know what I mean? He's playing a role, in the public eye. But behind closed doors, he's just being a normal guy. He's just being a normal young dude having fun, which I support, which he should be doing. But if he's having a little too much fun, the Republican Party is not going to like that, and they're going to turn on him. And they don't like the women's clothing thing, and they don't, the orgy stuff. They don't like that. They don't like that he said that. So he's fumbling. He's fumbling big time now, and it's going to take a lot for him to recover.
And he since he's a Republican politician, he can't hide behind the fact that he has no policies under his name to really go back to and brag about. They don't have policies, the Republican politician. The average Republican politician only talks about cultural issues, right?
Yeah.
Cultural issues like gayness, immigration, wokeness, stuff like that. Those are the only type of things they can talk to where they get some kind of positive feedback from their constituents. But other than that, they don't got no policies. The Republican policy is saying no. They want to say no to whatever policies the Democrats come up with.
Yeah. Or I mean, of late they have been coming out with their policies recently, which is the Don't Say Gay bill and the all
anti-abortion rights,
anti-abortion,
and, anti-woman.
Yeah, those are their
which
bills.
is again cultural.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's their policies, cultural. So
yeah.
The last video I wanted to show about these two numbskulls. Right now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is fighting for her chance to even be reelected, have a chance to get elected again.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to take her out of Congress right now. So Jim Acosta sees her in the street and decides to ask her about the text message that I was referring to earlier when she asked a Trump official, I think it was Mark Meadows, to tell Trump to declare martial law, which means the government takes over, and we all have to listen to what the army says now, which is, of course, illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Let's watch. Congressman, can we ask you about the martial law text? You didn't recall it?
I don't recall.
You don't recall?
I think it gets louder later.
I guess you also said you didn't recall calling Nancy Pelosi a traitor. Is that right?
You know, Jim, the problem...
You don't seem to recall a whole lot.
Well,
What's going on there?
You know, Jim, you have a show, and in all fairness, you try to present this image of me to your viewers, and it's just really not correct.
Well, we're just trying to get some answers. Did you send a text asking for the president to declare martial law? Did you do that?
You know, I don't recall those being my text messages, but have you read the text message that you're referring to?
I did.
Because
yeah,
it actually says if you...
It was misspelled, but it seemed to say
actually
that
it says
for martial
if
law.
you read it correctly, Jim, your problem is you're lying again right now. It says I do not know on those things. That's what that text message actually says.
Well,
no, why don't you be honest?
Why even bring it up?
Why don't
why
you be
even bring
honest?
up martial law?
No, you know your problem is you're just one of those liars on television, and people hate it. They can't stand the liars on television.
I'm not the one saying I don't recall.
Quote the supposed text message. Quote it. What does it say? I don't know on those things.
If you want to hang on, let's
read it out loud.
Let's read it. Okay.
Why don't you be honest for once?
Let's take a look.
Read it out loud.
Let's take a look.
Or she's not going to let him read it.
My question is
read it out loud.
Even...
What does it actually say?
Okay.
What is the text message? Read the whole thing.
Let's look at it. Okay.
Yeah, let's read it.
But you're saying you don't recall it.
I don't know if that's my text message or not, but if you want to talk about a text message, read the text message. Do something real.
Read it, Jim.
Okay, read the exact text message.
Read it right in front of everyone.
I'll read it. Let's take a look here.
Well, hurry up!
Oh, we got an article. Why don't you find the actual text message?
Let's see. Hey,
what's the difference, dumbass?
It's funny how she's waiting.
In a private chat with only members, several are saying the only way to save our republic is for Trump to call for martial law. Marshall was not spelled.
No, keep going with the text message.
I don't know on those things. I just wanted you to tell him.
I don't know on those things. Is that what that says? It says I don't know on those things.
Yeah, but why would you...
Wait, hold on, stop. This text message that's supposedly mine, I don't know if it is. What does it say? It says some members, and then it says... Wait, hold on.
She's such a right-winger.
Wait, I don't know if that's my text. It says I don't know on those things. Why don't you tell that story? No.
Defending a text message that she's trying to say, I don't even know if it was mine or not. But she's defending it so that it's not, you know.
I'm not trying to lie.
No, you're trying to accuse. No, you're accusing me of something, and then when you read the actual words, it tells another story. It tells the truth.
But you're being awfully defensive about a text that you say you didn't
you know what?
recall.
When you want to be honest and you actually want to talk about me as a real person and present me fairly, then I'll talk to you. But until then, I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Let me ask you this.
No, I don't want.
If you're subpoenaed to testify by the January 6th committee, if you're subpoenaed to testify by the January 6th committee,
stop harassing.
I know, but if you are, will you comply with that subpoena? Will you testify?
Stop harassing me.
I'm just trying to ask you some questions.
You're not. I didn't give you permission to. Leave me alone.
Look at her stupid ass lawyer.
Public sidewalk and had every right.
What's
I don't know who that bald guy is, but
probably her lawyer or some shit. But
recorded it.
What's funny though is that Jim Acosta is not like some fucking political activist progressive. He's just a regular Democrat. Like he's not even progressive at all. And if you're getting slammed by him, that it's so much worse. Like it's even worse. Right. That just goes to show how easy it is to just debunk the living shit out of you when just a regular CNN reporter is just fucking owning you on the street.
Right. You know, I think about how, you know, regardless how we feel about Jim Acosta, he is a high class, quote unquote, journalist from one of the biggest.
Oh yeah, he's highly known for sure.
Media channels in the world or in the country, CNN. So for him to go out himself and ask the questions like old school journalists, he's not supposed to ask those questions. He's supposed to send smaller journalists to go and fucking harass her.
Well,
and ask her the questions, and then he reports on it.
From what it looked like,
for him to go out there, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what I understand is that it was a matter of coincidence. I think he ran into her. I don't think he made it his agenda to I'm gonna go out and find Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think they ran into each other, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this right now." Which good. That's good on him. I applaud him for doing that.
Right.
But
then the question becomes like, what I was gonna get to was like, let's say he wasn't there by an accident and he went there to interview her. You know what I mean? Because he knew she was gonna be there. He was waiting for her to come out. He has access. He's gonna go up to her and talk to her. for him to be there on his own on the streets, it really just goes to show that the Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment, which I believe do work together, they do work together.
Of course.
I think they're all collectively trying to boot crazy ass people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Madison Cawthorn, and Matt Gaetz. They're trying to push them out of the party because those people, crazy, they're going to spew shit that shouldn't be spewed. They should never be spewed out about the political system, and they will run towards Trump rather than towards Mitch McConnell. You understand? They are devoted to Trump. Trump loves those three, but Trump is unhinged himself to the other Republican politicians. So they hate him, and in turn, they hate those three. You know what I mean? That I just mentioned. And this is just, to me, a huge sign that they're trying to take this girl down, and they're going to use the same tact. If this works, if this goes through, and she's prevented from running for re-election again, and so is Madison Cawthorn, the president of the United States is going to be, they're going to attempt to take him out as well. Or maybe they can't. Maybe Trump is just a little too powerful. But only time will tell, bro.
Yeah, I think my forever pessimistic takes on the future, I think we're going to see more of these people get elected, I think, to be honest, before we even see these guys go. I think we're going to see a lot more crazies get elected into the Republican Party, into Congress or Senate, wherever. I think that's the future of their party.
And, in a way, if that is the true future of their party, we're going to see a lot of Republican voters switch out from Republican to like independent. I won't go crazy and say Democrat, but there are a lot of Republican voters, I believe, based on the polls, that are not for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of I know he controls the base. I know he got it. I know he got most of them. I would say about 85% of them are pro-Trump, but there are some Republican voters that are more towards,
of course,
Mitt Romney. You know what I mean? Mitt
course.
Romney, Ted Cruz. Although now Ted Cruz and let's say what's that other guy's name? Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham, they're going more towards Trump too. So it's a bit scary if you're a Republican voter.
Yeah, the issue is
crazy state power.
Right. The issue is that those Republican voters who are more on the traditional Republican side, a lot of them are old. A lot of them are older. They're old. They're getting phased out. And these newer, younger Republicans are coming in, and those Republicans, they're not even all that young because the majority of young people are progressive. Overwhelmingly, they are progressive. But there are a lot of 30-something-year-olds, 40-something-year-olds that are getting really brainwashed into this shit. A lot of people, we know, a lot of people in our families that are that age who are just falling for it, just really falling headfirst into all this shit.
I agree 100%. And let's see what happens. Fortunately for us as progressives, I don't think the people that I talk to that are like pro Elon Musk or they like Donald Trump, they don't even vote, bro.
Of course, they don't know anything about politics.
They don't even vote. Which is a good thing overall.
Yeah.
For me. But when you think about it, it's kind of a sad thing. I do wish that everybody voted, but with a lot of crazy people that are coming out now, what pisses me off is that I have a friend who I show fact after fact after fact, and he goes, yep, yeah, but maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe Donald Trump did that on purpose to troll you. I'm like, no, you idiot, he did it because he's an idiot. No, he did it to troll you, and look, it's working.
Yeah, that's how the brain rot works.
That's how the brain rot works, guys. Come on, man, with this shit, man.
They like to develop a lot of their internalized feelings and turn that into these conspiracy theories and these crazy stories that they eventually think is true, that they get themselves to believe that it's true. You know what I mean? And they kind of yeah, they just brainwash themselves into believing these really, really bizarre things that there's no fact to back up. But there's no. A lot of these people are just so far gone, and it's sad. But they're like at the point of no return.
I will say one more thing regarding this. And then we can move on to the mighty Elon Musk, richest man in the world. We said this before in other episodes, but it all boils down to tribalism. You know what I mean? They want to win. They want to be on Team Red over Team Blue.
Yeah.
Because Team Blue is soft and Team Red is strong. There's something cool about being a Republican voter, because the storyline of what the Democrats are is Democrats are weak, Democrats are soft, and that is emphasized even more when you see the lack of fight within the Democratic Party from the Democratic politicians.
Yeah.
When it comes to proving these Republican politicians wrong on what they're saying the craziest things.
Yeah.
And you need Democrat politicians to come out on the news and say, yeah, I don't know what the hell that guy's talking about. He's wrong. I'm right. This is why I'm right. You don't see that. So you watching politics, you're going, I'm going to go with the strong guy. Look at this guy. He must be telling the truth because the opposite party ain't saying shit about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, another reason why they do side with Republicans and conservatives is because conservatives are conservative. They want to stick to tradition, stick to what we know, stick to everything we've ever been taught. So when people hear that, they reaffirm what they already know.
Right.
Trans
Makes them
people
feel smart.
Right, exactly. And it's almost human reflex to kind of deny any kind of like progress or change, especially when it comes to something like trans issues. Whenever, Republicans are anti-trans and say, horrible things about trans people, a lot of these people that we're talking about hear it and they go, oh yeah, that's what I've been taught my entire life. So they must be right. This is what my mom and dad, my religious ass mom and dad taught me. So, they must be correct then, because they're saying everything that I ever knew in my life, and that is hard for a human being to shake. And I understand that because I was there at one point too. And I'm sure you were too. And, it's really a matter of perspective and someone kind of understanding that as time goes on, things will change and things will progress, whether you like it or not. And the silly notion that we have to stay exactly how we are forever is crazy. It's really, really crazy to take these ideologies of the past and try to be like, we need to stick to these. We need to hang on to these forever and ever and ever. That's really, really, really crazy ideology when you really think about it. And I think most of these people, if you kind of explain it to them that way, I think it'll kind of break through a lot of them, and they'll begin to realize like, oh man, that's actually true. There's really nothing I can do about a lot of these things, about a lot of, trans awareness and LGBTQ awareness and anti-gun laws that eventually need to happen, and a lot of these other things. They can't. It's hard. It's really, really hard for them to shake everything mom and dad taught them and everything right. People taught them growing up. But that's really the I don't know if it's the core, but it's really a lot of what contributes to the name of our podcast, because people can't really shake a lot of what they've been taught. Telling somebody all of a sudden something that they've believed for 30 years that it isn't true, they're going to be like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's not true? And that's where a lot of right-wingers come from. That's how a lot of right-wingers develop and fall down these rabbit holes that validate and reaffirm all of their existing beliefs.
You need to fix your rotten brains.
Yes.
Guys got a lot of rotten brains here.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Elon Musk, Yeah, it was a great rant, brother.
Thank you.
I like that. That's what we live for. We're trying to save you guys from having rotten brains.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You guys are fucking idiots. Anyway, we got Elon Musk, richest man in the world. I wish I was the richest man in the world. This guy has just bought Twitter for how much? I think 46 billion?
Something like that.
With 36 billion?
It's in the 40s.
And yeah, I think so. The $46 billion. It kind of had to give the Twitter stockholders and CEOs no choice but to sell their company, or they can actually be sued by their stockholders to sell the company because they're making so much profit.
Yeah.
So he bought it pretty fairly easily. In my opinion, listen, look, I feel that this is going to be a problem for the people who use Twitter. I use Twitter. I don't use it a lot. I only use it to promote the show. But I do think that Twitter had its problems before Elon Musk with a lot of these bots. And there was a bit of cancel culture going on, with a couple of profiles that represented progressive groups and some conservative groups, far-right conservative groups. But when I say far-right conservative groups, I mean like the racist, real like anti-abortion, like anti-trans groups. You know what I mean? Usually white supremacy groups, they were banned. But Elon Musk says that when he becomes the official owner of Twitter, which he is, when he actually takes control, he's going to try to wipe a lot of the bots out of the app, which I believe personally is a very good thing if he does do it. I don't know if he's going to do it, but if he does do it, that's a great thing. But he also says he's going to there's going to be no cancel culture on Twitter. That is the only thing that I got to admit I'm not too sure he's going to do, and a big reason why is because he has not been a good advocate for against cancel culture in his own personal life and in his business life as well regarding Tesla. So what you got here, buddy?
I'm just playing. I'm just putting a video on a loop just in the background.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but Twitter bid succeeds, we will defeat the spam bots or die trying. Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I agree with this 100%. There's a lot of bots there that usually really make people to be more popular than they really are. And that could be a shame because obviously I think there's money to be made the more followers you have on Twitter.
Sure.
So you get a lot of people who don't have followers as their profile says, making money off of fake profiles. I mean, it's kind of bullshit and they should probably be in jail for such tactics.
Yeah. So
and I don't think, go ahead.
So go ahead. You can finish what you're saying.
I was gonna say I don't think Elon Musk is necessarily going to make the cancel culture atmosphere any better when he becomes CEO because, like I said, in his own personal and business life, he has not been a good advocate, and I have a few examples of that. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
So this with the spam bots, obviously on its face, reading it, sure, yeah, of course, spam bots bad. Let's get rid of them. Yeah, of course. However, what we have to understand is that Twitter, with the purchase of Twitter, it's now going to go private. It's going to be a private company now, which means that Elon gets to decide what a spam bot is. You understand?
Ooh.
So if the American Brain Rot Twitter account is saying a bunch of anti-Elon Musk shit, he can easily go, spam bot. Bye.
That would be fucking hilarious.
That's why this is bad. This is bad because it's going to be fully privatized and under his complete control. Obviously, he's going to have people working for him and running Twitter, blah, blah. He's not going to do everything on his own, obviously. However, he does get the final say. So, if there are, anti-Elon accounts or anti-whatever message he's trying to get across accounts, he can easily label them as spam. He can easily label them as spam bots. Oh, this is a spam bot. Who's
and
this?
also, on the contrary, what if there is an actual spam bot, right? But it's pro Elon Musk.
Right, and he can declare.
Is he going to get rid of that?
No, he can. He doesn't have to.
We don't know if he is. I doubt he will.
Exactly. We don't know if he is, but he doesn't have to. It's his company and it's private. If it's a spam bot and it's pumping out a bunch of shit that he wants, he could be like, no, I know this person. I know the people who run this account. It's fine. It's not spam. They're telling the truth. You know? That's why this is bad. That's why this is scary.
Yeah. So Elon Musk in the past, first of all, he's blocked people. Obviously, nothing wrong with blocking people, but if you're an advocate against cancel culture, you probably don't want to be caught blocking people, especially those who just simply disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, let's see. Oh yeah. Oh wow. This is horrible. So obviously, people in China were talking about faulty brakes in the Tesla car.
Yeah.
China, as you guys all know, is an authoritarian country. They control the internet themselves, the government, and they choose to block certain websites that they don't want people to see. And the people in China kind of just accept it for what it is. If the government doesn't want you to see certain websites, they'll block it. You can't ever see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when these posts of Tesla's having faulty brakes came out, this guy, Elon Musk, contacted China and made them block the post.
Mm-hmm.
Which is hella scary if you realize he just bought Twitter. A man like that just bought Twitter. A guy named Lawrence Falsey criticized Tesla performance in the stock markets through blogs, and Musk contacted his boss and threatened to sue him. And then obviously the guy had to delete his account and all of that because he didn't want to put his boss through a court case. But obviously he's willing to use his money as to showcase his power and to try and intimidate anybody he feels is a foe, even if the person is a small person like me and you, who we really don't have power compared to Elon Musk. I mean, the amount of money that he has is so overwhelming. Why does he even care about what me and you have to say? But it's scary to know that he will see somebody that is not as powerful as him and will try to crush them using his money and through the legal system. Quite similar to Donald Trump, by the way, in my opinion. He sued people for $107 million who went against him online, as if they have $107 million. What are you doing suing someone? Obviously, that's an intimidation tactic. A journalist by the name of Lynette Lopez was speaking out against him, and he put out a lie through a series of tweets saying that she was conspiring with short sellers to trade on insider information, but he had no evidence of that, so he had to fucking drop it. He had to drop that.
Right.
Because when the court said, all right, where's the evidence? He was like, never mind. You know what I mean? He's just trying to intimidate her to stop her shit. And of course, what this goes without saying, he's against unions. Absolutely against unions. They try to put a union in Tesla, and he fired a man who was trying to organize that. I'm trying to see what that man's name was. I don't think I wrote. Oh, yes, I did. Richard Ortiz was organizing a union, and he was fired. Obviously, that got revoked. That firing was changed. I think he was hired again because obviously it was completely illegal for Elon Musk to fire him because he was simply trying to make a union. So that's cancel culture in another sense.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, he was doing non-disclosure agreements unjustly and unlawfully to the people who worked at Tesla, saying that they would not be able to talk about the company or anything that's going on within the company without the permission of management. Obviously, that's illegal, and the court had to tell him to revoke that hiring process tactic that he had, only because obviously with a non-disclosure agreement like that, your manager could finger pop your asshole every single day when you clock in, and you wouldn't be able to tell the media because you signed a non-disclosure agreement saying that you can't do that. So that is why things like that are illegal, and he's smart enough to know that, but he's arrogant enough to do it anyway.
Of course,
because
he's a billionaire.
He's rich.
Yeah.
And so this is the guy who bought Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck. Let's all go on Facebook again.
Yeah, it's not like their boss is any better. Yeah, maybe Twitter needs to unionize now. That would be hilarious.
Ooh, that'll be a fucking kick in the balls for him.
That'll
You know what?
great.
Honestly, I don't even know how the efforts of the Tesla union effort did.
Yeah.
I don't know how it did. I mean, I don't think they have a union.
No.
Because he is also in a lot of legal trouble right now. There's a lot of people who work for Tesla that are now suing Elon Musk and the Tesla company because of alleged racism openly being distributed within. Oh yeah, there's a lot of like the N word written on the wall. Separation of races within the workforce. Like the blacks work here and the whites work there. Very weird. And it's been an ongoing issue within the Tesla company. And this is the person, like, there's a lot of history with Elon Musk and racism. You know what I mean?
Well, oh yeah, of course. We have to, I mean, to break it down, we have to go back and understand where he came from and where his wealth came from. His father was an emerald miner in apartheid South Africa, which was an awful time for them during apartheid. And he took advantage of that and made billions. He became filthy rich emerald mining in a country that was committing atrocities, and he took full advantage of that. This is his father. And of course became extremely wealthy. And, that money eventually gets passed down to Elon, and Elon does as he pleases with it. And obviously with a father that has zero ethics, he's going to be very much the same. And he's proven that time and time again, that he's cut from the same cloth as his dad. And he doesn't care. It's profit over everything, profit over people, over humanity, over anything and everything. And, a lot of crypto bros and a lot of, Elon and Joe Rogan bros, they love this guy. They absolutely love this guy because they believe that he's something that he's not. They believe that he's like a real life Tony Stark, which is what he tries to portray himself as. And he's not that at all. He's a terrible person. And to fucking idolize this guy and treat him like some sort of God is pathetic. It's extremely weak. The fact that you have to rely on this type of person to validate your feelings and your ideology. But yeah,
do you think that if you like him enough, you're gonna be rich? Fucking idiots.
Yeah, that's like, a lot of people.
This is the thing. Like, I have a friend who idolizes him because he's rich.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I try to tell him, yeah, he's rich, but he's fucking racist. Where's the proof that he's racist? Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 proofs. Well, he's rich, so you sound like a hater.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Americans fetishize the shit out of rich people. Americans love their rich people because they've been sold.
They think that one day they can be there.
Yeah, they've been sold this false dream. This is going back to what I just ranted about a little while ago, stuff that they learned a long time ago. They've been sold this false dream that if you work hard, you work as hard as you can, one day you can be just like this person, which is not true. I just spit all over my mic. You physically cannot earn $1 billion through labor. You can't. It's impossible. It's physically impossible to earn $1 billion strictly through your labor. In order to amass that amount of wealth, you have to exploit labor from other workers. You have to get ridiculous tax breaks from a corrupt government that you purchased. And you have to essentially steal and exploit to get to $1 billion. Every single billionaire has done this. That's how they get to that amount of money. I don't care how much you like your favorite billionaire, whoever the fuck it is. They have done atrocious things to amass that amount of wealth. And you would think, well, okay, they did all these awful things to get that wealth. Maybe they're going to make it right and give back and make the world a better place, which they have not. Not a single one of them has. And don't believe anything you hear about donations they make and philanthropy and donating all of their money to this. It's bullshit. It's all tax write-offs. They get that money right back. And that money doesn't do anything. It gets funneled into these fucking shell corporations that does nothing. It just gets funneled right back to them. So it's all bullshit. It's all lies. Anytime you hear all of this shit, you have to remember these guys they're fucking playing a game, and that's to stay on top. That's to always, always stay on top and hoard as much wealth as they possibly can.
Yeah, but Denny, they're smart. I mean, if they're taking advantage of the loopholes and they're doing illegal stuff, but it's actually legal, isn't that smart? Wouldn't you do that? These are the counters I get when I rant like Denny. I get these counters, and I'm like, no, I wouldn't fucking do that. I'm trying to change it, guy. I'm trying to change it. You know what I mean? But my ass ain't never gonna be rich because I'm not gonna sell out my morals for anybody. You understand? Because Elon has his father who's a rich piece of shit, but I have my father who taught me a little bit about morality and dignity and what it means to be a real man in this world. So, which is family and love and mostly family. I won't lie to you. My father's a big family man. With that being said, hey, listen, is Elon Musk going to make cancel culture a thing of the past? I don't think so.
He's going to amplify it by a lot.
Do I wish that he did? Yes, I do wish he does. Only time will tell. I just could tell that it's not going to be the time. So with that being said, let's go to the latest election between, I think it's in 2 days now, man. Nina Turner and Chantel Brown. Oh yeah, 2 days. You can go to this, this video. You can go to 202. Okay, you're there. Very nice. Yep. So Jordan Chamberlain.
Chariton.
Jordan Chariton is one of my favorite journalists. He used to be in TYT. He has his own show called The Status Quo. I enjoy it. He's still one of the best journalists, in my opinion, in the United States. He works extremely hard, and he pays attention to really important issues like the Flint crisis, the Flint water crisis, and the infrastructure going on in America. And he does cover a lot of corrupted elections like this one here, where Chantel Brown, the establishment Democrat, corrupt Democrat, she's going to go head to head with the progressive Democrat and spokesman in the Bernie Sanders campaign for presidency, Nina Turner, who lost her first bid for congressman recently in a special election against Chantel Brown and like 8 other candidates. Mm-hmm. But I think this election is just her and Chantel Brown.
Yep.
And she has a greater chance of winning this, and she lost the other election by just a few. I don't think she lost it that bad.
No, not by a
lot. So this is those two within the same interview, and it gets a little heated.
It's an appearance of impropriety. The seat, I believe that my competitor should have resigned from that position right away, period. There's lit piece out now, and she's at the top of that piece as the Cuyahoga County chairwoman, but she's also the current person that's holding the office for the 11th Congressional District. It really makes no sense. It is unfair. And I would say that whether I was in this race or not, I felt that way when there were 13 candidates in the race. It's called integrity. So she should have stepped down from that position. It is an unfair advantage, period. And even beyond that, the service to the people who are running right now, the people who are on the ballot right now are not getting the services that they deserve other than this little piece that just came out. So what is happening? We have a statewide election right now. And in order for Democrats to have even a chance of winning any of those races, we know that we need Cuyahoga County to overperform. That does not even look like it's going to happen right now. Cuyahoga County is not going to overperform in this race, putting in peril the ability of Democrats to be able to win statewide offices. So it is called integrity. She should relinquish the seat. She should have done it a long time ago. She especially should do it right now so that other people can concentrate their efforts on getting other Democrats elected. You know, this is the same lack of integrity that causes my opponent to say that she brought in $7 million worth of projects when we know that it wasn't her Brown, it was Senator Sherrod Brown, and that was highlighted by this very newspaper. It is the same lack of integrity that has my opponent under ethics investigation right now, and I think that
let's keep it. I'm not going to allow is lie.
Excuse me, I didn't jump in on you. I think that this board and the people who live in this district have a right to know whether or not that ethics investigation is still going on. It's called integrity.
Yes, it was never an ethics investigation. That was an outright lie. I walk around freely and proudly because that was a desperate attempt to smear my good reputation, one that I am very well known for having integrity. There was no conflict, so there was no need for me to step down. And let's be clear, the Cuyahoga County Democratic Party under my leadership has outperformed every county in this state. Despite not being the most populous county, we deliver the most votes from the precinct to the presidency under my leadership. I have outraised my predecessors. So as I was working as a Cuyahoga County Democratic Party chair in some of the most strenuous conditions with some of the most egregious and offensive voter suppression efforts, we still performed well. And so I have not done anything that I haven't done in the past, which is work hard for other candidates. Now that I understand the responsibilities and the weight of this congressional seat, I have done what I know to do, which is to say, look, I am not in a position to be able to do both jobs well, but it would make no sense to step down when there's an election within 30 days.
There's more where the meltdown.
So you understand what's going on there. I mean, she's the chair of a Democratic committee in her district when she ran for Congresswoman, and she stays as the head of the chair while she's running for Congress. You're supposed to step down because that's a conflict of interest, right? Everybody who is under you, you're basically getting to vote for you. Mm-hmm. And so when she won the Congress race, obviously she was hit with so much donations from corporations. The establishment pretty much endorsed her because they don't want somebody like Nina Turner to win. At the same time, there were ads being brought out against Nina Turner, straight lying about her political stance on Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage. They were trying to say that Nina Turner does not support those things. You understand? Meanwhile, that's all she fucking talks about. Yeah. So there was so much propaganda being spewed all over those districts' television sets that, she itched out a win. But now you heard her say just now, like, obviously now that I know that the hardship of being a congresswoman, obviously I know that I got to step down, but why would I step down? There's 30 days until the election. You would think out of morality, you would still step down.
Right.
You understand? But now she's like, I'm not going to step down. What if I lose? Then I'll have 2 spots lost, which, yeah, in hindsight, pretty smart. But at the end of the day, like, you're basically admitting that you did your job poorly. You knew that you couldn't do the 2 jobs at the same time, and so you still kept them both because you don't want to be jobless. Right. And she said, "Oh, that's an absolute lie about the investigation. Obviously, they threw that investigation at me to make me look bad. You just said it was a whole lie.
Yeah.
So did they investigate you or not?
Mm-hmm.
They did investigate you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, any thoughts or?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's kind of sad in Chantel Brown's case because whether she realizes it or not, she's just a puppet for the Democratic Party. Literally, that's all she is. She's not politically savvy. She doesn't have like a incredible record, anything like that. She is a token black person to go up against a progressive black person. That's it. That's it. That's all she is to the Democratic Party. She's just a little puppet talking piece for them to try to defeat the progressive. Now, speaking on that, there's no one else that can cause Republicans and Democrats to join forces other than a progressive. Democrats will fight harder than you've ever seen in your life against a progressive than a Republican. Against Republicans, they don't do shit. They don't say shit. They don't put up a fight. They don't do anything. Against progressives, ooh boy, do they do Oppo research. Ooh boy, do they spend money and put out ads. They've already been doing it against Nina Turner for the last few months now, which is what has me a little pessimistic about this race on Tuesday. You know, obviously I want Nina to win, but after experiencing the 2020 primary with presidency and Bernie and a lot of other races around the country, I don't feel very hopeful for this Tuesday. So I'm already preparing for heartbreak. I really, really hope I'm wrong. I hope that's not the case, mainly because I love Nina Turner. You know,
well, they changed the districts. They changed the districts from the first special elections to now. So that might give her a chance. You never know. I heard that those districts are supposed to be more favor of Nina. But then it makes me think like, but why would they do that then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they had to do that every year or something. Like it's a mandatory thing. I don't know. But I was told that, from what I heard, I was told that it does favor Nina. She could still lose, obviously, but it does favor Nina.
Yeah, it's great. Said, I mean, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. I talk a lot. I do.
That's great, and I hope that that's true, and I hope that does end up benefiting her on Tuesday. But back to what I was saying before, Nina Turner. Whenever I'm asked who do I want to be president, who would I want ideally to be president, my answer is always Nina Turner. It has been for the last couple of years now. It's always Nina Turner because she's Bernie Sanders turned all the way up to another level.
Bernie Sanders 2.0.
Yeah, she's incredible. Her policies are perfect. They're right on point. They're exactly what I want. Obviously, I don't think there's a single politician that I agree with 100%. There's always going to be little disagreements here and there. I couldn't even think of any right now, to be honest. But yeah, man, that's how huge I think this is, at least to me, for her to win. You know, Nina Turner in Congress is crazy, and this is why Democrats are fighting so hard to prevent her from winning, because her in Congress is bad news for them. It's horrible news for them, and they don't want that. They don't want another AOC.
I got some bad news for you, Denny. Joe Biden just endorsed Chantel Brown.
Of course, that's not bad news to me. That's
horrible news.
Do you think that he's going to endorse?
You want to know why? Because since he's been president, he's only endorsed one other person in somewhere else. I don't know where, but he's endorsed one other person. This is the second ever endorsement that he's throwing out there as president, which maybe bite Chantel Brown in the ass because he's actually pretty unpopular right now in terms of the polls, but he's still the president of the United States. I got to think that it's going to help her at least solidify some of those votes that, you know, usually go for the establishment politicians or those politicians that the media at least pushes, which I think if any media is going to cover Chantel Brown versus Nina Turner, they're going to push a case for Chantel Brown over Turner.
They already are.
So for those voters that will listen to that guy push Brown, for those, they're obviously going to mention that Joe Biden endorsed her, and it will just solidify those votes for Brown.
Yeah. Joe Biden. Yeah. I mean, that goes to prove my point.
Yeah,
that proves my point.
That's why I wanted to add it in.
Yeah, that proves my point.
You knew that.
Joe Biden doesn't endorse that many people. Oh, look who he endorsed. He endorsed the opponent of one of the strongest progressives to ever exist in this country. So
in a very random election, right? Like if there were any other two people in the world, he probably would have never thrown his election in there. Just let the Democratic establishment handle it. But no. Similar to when Obama stepped in and saved Joe Biden's ass against Bernie Sanders, here comes Joe Biden coming in and saving Chantel's ass from Nina Turner, who is in fact another Bernie Sanders. So, I mean, it just goes to show that the establishment does not.
Your mic. Can't touch your mic, buddy. Nope. All right, we're going to cut the recording for 1 second. All right, technical difficulties. We're back now. Eric, the floor is yours.
I got way too excited.
It's all right.
We'll
check out that
what I
mic
was
soon.
trying to say was that, the establishment does not like progressives, and they will do everything they can to prevent progressives from being elected. Democrats do not attack Republicans. They only attack other Democrats in the primaries. And that's why the primaries are very important. And the way they attack progressive candidates in the primaries is, one, they bash them through the media, but two, endorsements and donations through PACs to the establishment nominees or establishment incumbents like Chantel Brown. She's gotten like $1 million off of these random ass PACs from Israel, or oil industries will give her millions of dollars in donations. And of course, she can use those millions of dollars to propaganda commercials through the TV sets of her constituents.
Yeah.
So that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. People don't do the necessary. I mean, usually voters are a little bit more on the older side, and that's changing, thankfully, as years go by. But the older people in this country still have a strong ass political voice in politics.
Because they're the ones who vote. They're the ones who vote.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, they're willing to go out there and vote, and they're the ones who watch the news channels in their living rooms. You know what I mean? Like, my father was a great example. You know what I mean? My father had me as a son, so I would rant my ass off to him, and he'll go, "Yep, crazy. Yep, whatever. I'll vote Bernie Sanders," and then take off his pants, be in his underwears, and watch CNN literally all day. Even though I told him about the Young Turks and Secular Talk and Majority Report and all these things, he's not going to go on the computer and do that.
No.
It's too much work to do that.
Yeah.
You'd rather just turn on the channel to CNN and be done with it. You know what I mean? So, only time will tell. Let's hope that Nina Turner pulls out an epic win, because with her winning a seat in Congress, Denny, the establishment has a problem.
They know that. And they know that by their actions. We know that by their actions, because the Democratic establishment is funneling so much money into Chantel Brown's campaign. You have to understand, this is just a little congressional race in Ohio. This doesn't happen. Millions of dollars don't get funneled into races in Ohio. They get funneled into races in New York, in California, in Texas, not Ohio. This goes to show you how fucking terrified they are of Nina Turner winning, and that needs to click in people's heads. It really does. And if this video somehow gets to some random person in Ohio before Tuesday, good God, please fucking vote for Nina Turner, please.
We'll make a short clip of this.
Oh man, we're gonna have to.
So you can pay attention long enough to vote for her. You fucking American brain rot. Fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I got pissed off at the guy who I imagined in my mind.
Yeah, I do that frequently. But
let's go to 7:55 just to end this, because their back and forth does not end, and then we'll close the show with this video here, because it actually gets a little crazy with Chantel Brown.
The fact is, we've delivered more votes than any other state in this county. And the fact is, I've never been under investigation. And it saddens me that you would put something out there like that. It just speaks to the desperation of your candidacy, because you know there is no truth to that. None whatsoever. And if there was any truth to it, I certainly believe that it would be more than you that would have this information and be telling it like it's fact. So it's not a fact. And I'm saddened that you would do this.
If you want to talk about desperation, I'm not making this up. The ethics commission. There was something filed against you on ethics violation.
Anybody can file something, but that does not make it justifiable. So please don't play word games. No, let's not do semantics here, because we can present documentation from
we can't really understand either of you when you're speaking over each other.
I did not jump in on you. I did not jump in on you. I listened to everything that you had to say. So if you want to talk about desperation, it is the same desperation last year that prompted Republicans to jump into this race. It's the same desperation that had Trump Republicans making donations to your campaign. That's desperation.
Don't you play word games.
I know.
Yeah, you can end it right there. Yo, bro, I forgot about that. Republican donors and politicians, the Republican Party, putting money into Chantel Brown's campaign just to defeat Nina Turner.
People, this has to click in your brains, people. This has to click in your fucking brains as to what's happening. Republicans and Democrats are joining forces to stop Nina Turner. Please, like this.
What? That's unheard of, bro. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's happened before on the low, but that is to me unheard of. This is the first time I've ever seen something like that. You know what I mean? Chantel's the bad guy in every political movie you've ever watched growing up.
100%.
She's the bad guy.
100%.
All right, and Nina Turner's the good guy who has the whole world against her. And hopefully there's a good ending and she comes out on top. By the way, I believe the investigation on Chantel Brown was about her giving contracts to her lover's companies. So she was giving government contracts to her lover's company and giving them favors. Just assigning contracts to her lover's company. That's it. So he was able to make millions of dollars through those contracts. Was he?
You touched your mic again. You touched your mic again.
Yes. So yeah, like I said, that's what the investigation was about. Was she giving her then boyfriend or now boyfriend government contracts and getting him rich? That was what the investigation is about. As you can tell, she was at first said, the investigation, of course they're going to make investigations, but it doesn't mean that it's credible. And then in another sentence, she says, there was never an investigation. So she's lying through her fucking teeth. It's obvious. It's clear. I don't like it when people insult my intelligence. I don't like that. Even if I didn't believe in the establishment and nothing like that, I would look at her just like Marjorie Taylor Greene and I'll say, that's bullshit. I don't know why, but she's lying. You know what I mean? Hopefully the other person out of spite. With that being said, hopefully Nina Turner takes it. Any final thoughts on this?
I mean, I hope she wins. I don't feel super hopeful, especially now with Biden endorsing Chantel Brown. I kind of feel like that's the nail in the coffin, to be honest. I've seen this already.
Joe Biden?
Yeah, I haven't been into politics for super long, but I've been into politics long enough where I know how the game is played, and I've seen this happen already a few times. And every time it happens, it's bad news for progressives. So,
I will say, if Nina Turner does win, she'll be a congresswoman for about one term before she runs for president.
Oh God,
for president, she'll run.
Right away. I agree. I agree that she'll run. But fuck. I hope, fingers crossed. I love Nina. And
yeah, man.
I would love to see her in Congress.
Her picture is going on my wall and joining the rest of the true progressives that I feel are in this country. With that being said, this is episode 9 in the books.
That's right.
It was a good one. Minus the technical difficulties from my mic. I will be getting the same thing that Denny has. He showed me just now. He also told me it was only $15. And it looks cooler. It reminds me of Terminator, the arm in Terminator, the metal arm. So I'm going to get it just because of that.
Cool. That's it. That's the only reason.
That's the only reason.
So thanks for watching. I hope you stuck around to watch all the way through. We're going to be doing short clips. We're going to, hopefully
We're starting this with this one. We'll start with this one. I'm down to do it, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna clip out, some parts of our conversation and upload those to YouTube separately. Hopefully to gain more traction, gain more viewers, more subs. Speaking of, please, if you haven't already, please sub. We need more. We definitely need a lot more. I actually didn't know. I tried to create a custom URL. So essentially like youtube.com/American Brain Rot. But the only way you can do that is if you have 100 subscribers. Otherwise, you can't do it. So please, the road to 100 has begun. We're nowhere near there, but please.
I think we got like 8, right? Or like
18,
10 or
12? 18.
Ooh, nice. I knew there was an 8 somewhere in there.
Yeah. So if you haven't already,
18 is actually really fucking good, dude. What the fuck? There's got to be at least 5 of those people I don't know.
maybe there's a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, please like, please subscribe, please comment below. Let us know what you thought, your opinions on all of the topics. I know you have opinions, so let us know what they are. Eric, you can catch him on Twitch, twitch.tv/Falco Thy Fear. Falco with a 0.
Ooh, nice. I like how you added that in there, kid.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. It's really important. The other guy had there's already a Falco Thy Fear with an O. And I messaged that guy, and he doesn't respond back.
He's a son of a bitch.
Like 10 messages already. What a fucking asshole!
Yeah, son of a bitch. It's time to 1v1 in For Honor for the name.
Fucking stick a spear right in his asshole.
That's right. Anyway, we've been recording long enough.
Yes, we have.
Thank you again. Peace.
Peace out, guys.